3, 2, 1, go!
Well, we're here.
Hey, how are you?
Hi, Erik. I'm doing well. So I guess we got to introduce ourselves first. So do you want to start?
Sure. My name is Erik Deckers, and I am a humor and satire writer here in Orlando, Florida, by way of Indiana, where I grew up. And I've written a couple of satirical humor novels. One is Mackinac Island Nation. My new one coming out is Whither Utopia. Means where Utopia, but also because it is set about 50 years into the future with no conservatives in the world, and the liberals are in charge. It also starts to go to shit. So Whither Utopia also means whither Utopia. I thought I was being clever.
Play on words there. I like it. It's like you're an author or something.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, I'm Mark Muncy. I am the author of Dark Side of the Smoky Mountains, presented by the Eerie Travels podcast, which I am the host of, with CEO of Four Horsemen, Erik Appalachia, as my co-author. I also do paranormal and folklore research. I team up with ghost hunters, UFO hunters, Bigfoot hunters. I did a lot of my previous work for History Press, delving into folklore and stuff like that. I also lived in Florida for 30 years after originally from Ohio, West Virginia, Kentucky. And now I live in the Smoky Mountains. So I'm what they call a halfback, where I moved from up north down to Florida, but only came halfway back.
I grew up in Muncy, Indiana.
See, they spell it wrong. They spell it with an IE. I spell it with a Y. I don't know what's wrong with that city.
But it's named after Chief Muncy.
Yeah.
M-U-N-S-E-E. So they didn't even spell it right twice.
Didn't spell it right either. And he didn't spell it right either. What's wrong with these people? I don't know. So at least we got our first names right. So you're Erik with a K, and I'm Mark with a K. Yes. What's up with those guys with C's at the end of their names, right? They're just pretentious.
Parents got hit in the head.
They're just trying to cheat at Scrabble. All right. But we've got 3 questions they want us to ask each other. How do we want to do it? I'll ask the first one. You ask the second one, and then we'll both ask the third one. So let's see. Our questions are, well, this is for you first then. If you could pick up a new skill in an instant, what would it be?
I gave this some thought, and I wasn't sure if I should be funny or not, but I honestly think I do woodworking on occasion, but very rough, basic woodworking. I would like to learn like fine woodworking, where you're building furniture and you're building these handcrafted, rather exquisite pieces. I'd like to know how to do that, and not just, if you can see, I guess over here, over my shoulder, that is my workbench that I built. That's kind of the level of what I can handle, a workbench built completely out of plywood. And I would like to be able to do something more like these shelves. God, this mirror is messing up. These shelves here, I did not build, but would like to be able to do something like that. So I think that would be one skill.
That'd be great.
French food.
Well, us as authors, we got to have more bookshelves. That would be handy instead of having to go to IKEA every couple months. We just,
exactly.
For me, I think I am an old school nerd. I love all things old retro stuff. So I wish I had the ability to solder better. I'm terrible at it, because I'd love to restore old pinball machines and old video games. I worked in an arcade for a hot minute, and I loved taking those apart and putting them back there. And now I watch YouTube videos of people restoring old video games. And I know that people watch those comfort videos of streaming, power washing and stuff like that. That's me watching guys clean old video game machines.
I watch restoration videos, especially furniture. Guys who do furniture, but occasionally there are a couple of guys that I watch, mostly in Europe. And I always like the European restorers because they don't talk. All the
Oh,
Americans like, I got to take this screw out. It's like, I see it. You don't have to tell me.
yeah, I don't need
But
that.
but these metal guys, they'll refashion a missing piece on a lathe. That would be something I'd like to learn how to do, is metal lathe work. But then they will occasionally restore like an old Apple keyboard, like one of those wing
Yeah.
keyboards. I used to have one of those, and I watched I think it was Tai Tube restore that, and he does soldering. Um,
Yeah.
and my Mechanica from Germany does soldering on occasion. So that's always interesting to see. So I'm with you there. Did you know you can get a PhD in soldering in Japan?
Yes, that's crazy. I bumped into a guy the other day who had a PhD in folklore. I'm like, that could be a PhD. Oh my gosh, I've been doing the wrong thing here. I've been just studying it. No, I watched a guy restore a Commodore 64, back to mint condition. I mean,
I think I saw that one.
Yeah, use some special cleaning fluid, put it out in the sun, and it just turned yellow to white. I'm like,
yep,
magic! This is incredible. Where was this when I
hydrogen
was?
peroxide and UV light.
Yeah, I'm like, how many fingerprints were gone from that? Oh my gosh, yeah, that. Oh man, that's just fun. I love it. I love it. I love it. So, all right.
So, my question: if you were to be remembered only by the words you put on the page, what would future historians think of you? So they don't know your bio; they've only got your books, and they say, "Who is this Mark Muncy guy?" What can we determine? Sort of like our English teachers did with Shakespeare and
and all that, because we don't know what they really meant by this and all that. I love when everybody interprets everything differently. Man, they're going to go through me and they're going to be like, okay, so he's got this kind of. I've gotten reviews that say I've got this rustic humor. I don't know if that means it's rusted or if it means I'm kind of rural or rustic. Does it sound like I'm Southwestern? I very rarely visit the Southwest. I am
log
Appalachian
humor.
Yeah, so it's like dad humor. Yeah, I do that. That's when I sign my books, I always use dad humor. So if they see my handwriting, well, first off, they're not going to be able to read it. They're going to have to get a hieroglyphics expert to try to read my handwriting. It's the reason I type my books. But I think they're going to go, this guy loved stories. That's what it's going to be. This guy loved to storytell. This guy loved reading stories and repeating stories. I think that's where we're going to go with it. I'd like to think of myself as the new Garth Marenghi, but nobody, nobody will ever match Garth Marenghi's greatness. And if you don't know who Garth Marenghi is, he is the Grand Master of Darkness. And look him up; you'll be happy you did.
So. Yeah, I was able to watch the shows. Online. They're hilarious.
Yeah, he's doing a book tour now. In character, Arthur Holness, who created Garth Marenghi, is doing a book tour because he's got 3 books out now as Garth, and I highly recommend the audiobooks of those. I don't normally do audiobooks, but those are worth your time. So those are worth your time.
Is he mostly in Europe, or is his tour coming over to the U.S.?
Only UK, UK. And I'm like, come on, bring him over here. We love him over here, but he's not as big over here. But that's okay. That's okay. The right people know. The right people know. So, and he's doing a podcast. He's doing a Garth Marenghi podcast now.
Is he really?
He interviewed.
I'll have to check that out.
He interviewed Mike Flanagan in the first episode, talking about Haunting of Hill House and these Stephen King's Welcome to Derry that he's doing, and he's like, and Garth's question is, so first question is, why do you like adapting Stephen King? And my second question is, why haven't you adapted any of my work? And then Mike Flanagan's like, well, Stephen King and all these things. No. He's like, no. Just answer the second question. Let's just get right to it.
I'm going to have to check that out. That's pretty good. You should see if you could get on there.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, we'd get him on Eerie Travels. That'd be fantastic. We get Garth Marenghi on Eerie Travels. Oh man, that would be the ultimate win. So, and for those of you tuning into 321 Chats, Eerie Travels available on all fine podcasting platforms everywhere and YouTube. So, but all right, Erik, that's to you then. What words, if you're just reading your words on the page, what are they going to think of you?
I would hope they would think I was funny. First of all, I mean, I not just historians. I want people now to think I'm funny, but I especially want them to think that. But also, I want them to be able to find Easter eggs. I want them to be clever. And so, like in this book, this is a follow-up of sorts to my first book, Mackinac Island Nation, which took place on Mackinac Island in 2015. And this takes place in like 2053 or something. I can't remember. Wrote it, can't remember. But there are very minor character references from the first book mentioned in this book. And you almost have to read the book and then read this new book immediately to go, oh, I get that. And so I did that just in case anybody ever found them. And so there are these tiny Easter eggs that you don't even know they're there unless you've read the first book. And so I want those historians to find that and at least think I'm partially clever.
Easter eggs are great. I love throwing them into my stuff too. I have a family cryptid that lived on my family property, and it tell me if this just sounds like something out of South Park. It had the body of a cat, the deformed head of a man, and a wooden leg. And they called it the bench leg. And it would jump from tree to tree. And if you were a bad man and you were riding on your horse, he would jump from tree to tree and hit you with that leg, that whoop-ass stick, and knock you off your horse. And that was just this creature. And grew up hearing about it, had a weird encounter with something that might have been it. And that's what kind of turned me on this whole paranormal cryptid research stuff.
Really?
But what got me on that is I'm like, I have to put the bench leg in absolutely everything I do somewhere, somehow. Just somebody references it in my fiction. I've only written a few fiction pieces recently. All my old stuff was back in the 80s. But I would throw in a reference to some creature, mythical creature in the woods that people were afraid of. And it was always just something like that. And what amazed me is we were at Dragon Con last year speaking, doing our Eerie Travels live, and we were talking about Appalachian cryptids, and this group came in. They were all dressed as cryptids, and it was like a Mothman, and there was a Jersey Devil and all this, and this one lady was dressed as the bench leg, and it made my heart soar because she'd listened to the podcast, she'd read a couple of my books, and she was just like, I had to dress as the bench leg. Ah!
That's funny. I put in another Easter egg. When I was researching Mackinac Island Nation and writing it, I read John Steinbeck's The Short Reign of Pippin the Fourth. And nobody knows about that book. It's a short book, and it's a fun book. It's actually funny. It's not like any of Steinbeck's other stuff, which is not funny. But this was really funny, and so I just put that in there as kind of a little treat for me. And so then in this book, I thought, oh, I'm going to mention it again. Yeah. And I can't remember, it was somebody saying, well, this is like The Short Reign of Pippin the Fourth, and nobody knows what they're talking about. And the person says, doesn't anybody read? And so now I'm working on my third novel, and I'm trying to figure out how do I put the mention of that book in there once more.
Yeah. I always try to mention Buckaroo Banzai and everything.
That's a good one.
Or I'll throw in just what's that watermelon doing there for no reason, because that was just a random thing they put in that movie. So, oh man, I love Easter eggs in books. You stumble on those, it's amazing. So, okay, I guess we're on to question 3.
Yep. Now, so what are some writing quirks that you have?
Oh gosh, I have quite a few. Do we have another hour?
Sure.
All right. First is, I often say first is. That's just I always say firstly, first. I got to stop doing that. Since I'm writing folklore, it's not as bad as when I write fiction, because you got to do the general exposition. Guy has to talk about something. I always I always try to make General Exposition a military guy, so I can call him General Exposition in my notes. But yeah, that's one of my worst traits when I'm writing is first this, first that, firstly, and I do that in the folklore. I'm like, so first part of history, first part. I dig real deep into the history of things. And that's the beauty of having Erica as the co-author, because she wants to cut out all the history, just get straight to the spooky stuff, get straight to the interesting part. I'm like, this is the interesting part for certain people.
Yeah. You should, if you ever get a chance, go to Asheville, North Carolina, and go on the Haunted Asheville tour, specifically that one, Haunted Asheville.
Page 181 of this book is
excellent.
The Asheville tour.
But the guys who do it are paranormal investigators, and so it's a serious and a historic tour. Not just there are a couple other tours that are kind of goofy, and they have characters who are out on the tour, and they kind of jump out for a joke and a laugh. But the Haunted Asheville one is a great historic tour.
Yep. No, like I said, Florida historic tours are a cottage industry down in St. Augustine and Key West. Any of the beach communities have those historic tours. And now, thanks to Discovery Channel, Travel Channel, and all that, where ghosts became mainstream, every big city has a ghost tour now, everywhere. And Asheville, for the longest time, tried to hide their ghostly stuff. But now they're like, oh, there's money here? Oh, yeah, the ghosts were here all along. They're in room 312. We just had it locked up. Sorry, they come bring us your money. No, we did a whole chapter on the ghosts of Asheville, and I took stuff from the ghost tour, but also stuff I discovered, and we mix it up. That's what we try to do with the books. But yeah, I love mixing the history with the folklore, because they intertwine so much, and that's what people don't understand. If you dig enough into history, you're going to find some folklore. Dig enough into folklore, you're going to find some history. And then also, that's where the paranormal side comes in. Is it's kind of in the middle, and that's why I love it so much. But
and you have to know why the person's sticking around.
Yeah,
what happened to make them stick around? Yeah,
exactly.
So history has to go with it.
You got it. My other quirk is that I have a real problem with not run-on sentences, but like the opposite, where my sentences are too short for readers. Same. Yeah, I'll do Bob said this, Bob did that, Bob went there. And it's like, oh, okay, that doesn't, it's not very descriptive. It's not very action-y. I've got to get more active. That's one of the reasons why I'm kind of fallen out of fiction a little bit, is because it's much easier to write the folklore, the history, and all that, and make it sound colorful, make it sound rustic. But
branches around.
Yeah. All right. So what are your quirks there, Erik?
My big one is I use a lot of filler words. I use just and really a lot. And so, like, I write a weekly newspaper humor column. It's about 850 words. And I will have 10 or 12 justs and reallys in there that I have to take out. It's just this. It's really exciting. It's, and so I don't need them. And I'm not a big fan of adverbs anyway, but I stick those in there because it's rhythmic. It's not even adding to the sentence. It adds to the rhythm of the sentence. And I do some open mic events where I read one of my columns. And so I write for my own ear. And I put those words in there because I would say the word to add to the rhythm of the sentence. But I only read 25% of those columns at these events. Or no, not even that. Yeah, that's about right. So only a quarter of them are being read out loud. The rest are just being read in newspapers. They don't need that. And I have to remind myself, you're not going to read this one. Just keep that stuff out of there. The other thing, honestly, and it's a funny thing to say, but humor is one of my writing crutches, because I will put it in anything. And so, like, for my day job, I do content marketing and I do ghostwriting. and I ghostwrite blog articles for companies. And they don't want funny, but I put it in there out of habit. And so I have to understand the client a little bit better to know whether something actually will fly. But more often than not, I have to take the stuff out so it's a little more dry and businesslike.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I've done some ghostwriting in the past. I had to write a biography of a person that I just hated everything about it. But you take the job, you take the money, and then as you're reading his notes, you're like, oh, this person's everything I can't stand in a person, but I'm having to write this book about them being for posterity. I have to make it a good thing because I'm being paid to do this. So yes, ghostwriting is not for everybody.
Yeah.
That's the reason I got out of it.
Yeah. As long as the check is big enough, I'll write anything.
Yeah. We have one of our good friends is a Bram Stoker winner. He ghost wrote a biography of a famous celebrity, and he's like, NDAs, I'm not allowed to say anything about it, but that celebrity won an award for best biography, and he got 0 credit because you ghost wrote it and everything. It's like,
yeah. I would much rather be the with,
yes.
The second, the famous athlete with this guy. And it's like, the athlete didn't he told the stories, but didn't write it.
Yeah.
Who is it? Snooki Polizzi from Jersey Shore has a book.
Yeah.
She wrote a book. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. And that was this guy who I did. He was a sports figure. And again, I hate sports ball. I hate all things sports.
Really?
And he was, he had some beliefs that I was not fond of. So I was like, oh, and I got to write about this.
These two shelves behind me.
Yeah.
Are all sports memoirs.
Oh, wow. Good for you. Good for you. I can't. I was a nerd, man. I hated the jocks. I hated everything. My sport was fencing. I did fencing because I thought it was as far away from sports as I could really get and still do sports. And even that got too jock for me, and I had to bail.
I did the esoteric sports in high school. So I grew up in Indiana in the 80s, and I played soccer, which we did not have. The athletic director of my high school asked me, "Is that the game with the feet?"
Yeah.
And I was also a bike racer, so I picked weird sports that nobody else did.
Yeah,
but I played D&D and I did nerd stuff too.
I did D&D and stuff. That's why I did fencing. I'm like, all right, I got at least sword fight.
Exactly.
That'd be kind of fun. And Star Wars was big, so I was like, I'll learn how to be a Jedi. But even though I preferred Han Solo, but I think we all did. But
yeah.
All right, well, I guess that's it for questions, and I think we did our 3, 2, 1 thing.
Yeah.
So, all right, tell everybody where we can find you and where they can get your books.
So I'm still on Twitter. I didn't leave. I'm eDeckers on Twitter, but I am on Instagram and on Threads. I use Threads a lot more, and it's just Erik Deckers on Instagram and on Threads. And of course, erikdeckers.com is my website. And you can just find me on Amazon. Just search my name, and I have several books out there.
Okay. And
not just on Amazon. You can find me on the Four Horsemen website. You should go there first.
Yes.
And let them make the profit, not Amazon. Jeff Bezos doesn't need any more money.
No, he's got plenty. And there's usually some sort of sale on Four Horsemen. So go there. You can find me at eerietravels.com. My Twitter got banned because we posted a thing a fan posted back on Eerie Travels, and they literally banned us from Twitter. That was in the pre-Elon days. But and then our Facebook page got hacked. So just go to eerietravels.com. You can find us there, and that you can find my email there, and our podcast. You can just follow us there. My books are available. My Eerie Florida and Eerie Appalachia books are available in fine Cracker Barrels everywhere, and some CVS's and Walgreens in Florida. But the new book, Dark Side of Smokies, you can find it at most of the Smoky Mountain gift shops. And, get your mom and pop store to order it, or for Horsemen Publications. Or Amazon, whatever, somewhere online I'll have it. But that's what you do. Find the books, look for the people, and I think that's it, gang. We will. I like to wrap up with Eerie Travels and say, "See you on the other side." But I think we should do a Garth Marenghi end here and just say, "Stay safe, travelers."
I always tell people, keep your stick on the ice.
Oh yeah, red green. Heck yeah.
Red green.
Yeah, that's good too. So that's what we need. Red green meets Garth Marenghi. Let's do that team up. All right, Erik?
I would watch that. I would watch the hell out of that. I would pay
so much money for that. All right.
3, 2, 1, go.